furthest distance, right? The 2 points are also read as aphelion and perihelion, right? When the distance between sun and the planet is least, the nearest point, right? We call it perihelion. And when it is at furthest distance, it is known as aphelion, right? So
Yes, sir.
distance changes with respect to time. Yeah, this point
Yes, sir.
is known as time. So this is furthest distance. This is known as aphelion. This is known as perihelion. Now, what else you need to know? All the planets do the same thing. Huh? They revolve around the sun. Now, one important thing is that what do you think? They travel with same speed in their orbit, or the speed will change?
The speed
They should travel
changes.
with the speed changes. So got this law, na? There are three laws. This was your first law, right? So speed changes. What made you say this? Ki speed changes. So let me explain why speed changes. This is second law. We call it law of uh, areas. Law of equal areas actually. Law of equal areas. So let me explain why speed changes. Suppose this is elliptical orbit, right? Now planet moves in this path. Planet moves in this path, and this is sun. Now planet moves in this direction. Planet is coming this way, right? And as we know, gravitational pull is central force. Gravitational pull is central force. The gravitational pull is acting in this direction. So if you apply a force in this direction, if you remember the chapter, I have explained this has two effects. It will change the direction of motion as well as it will speed up the object. So as this planet moves towards the sun, its speed goes on increasing. Now let us assume planet is somewhere here. At this moment, velocity is in this direction. So central force, the force of attraction will act in this direction. Now this force has two effects. One is it will slow down the planet, and the other is it will change the direction of motion of the planet. No?
Yes, sir.
So,
Sir, can you
ah,
please repeat again?
see, if recall, I have explained if an object is moving in this direction, if motion is this way, this force increases the speed, this decreases the speed, this changes the direction. If this is the force, then it has both the effects. One is it changes the direction of motion, other is it will speed up. If you exert force in this direction, then it will have again two effects. One is to slow down the object, and other is to change the direction of motion. Remember? This you remember, na? In Newton's laws
Yes,
of
sir.
motion, I have discussed. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So,
Sir, so when
yeah,
it's closest to the sun, it is the fastest.
yeah, it will be fastest.
So
When
sir, it could
distance
be
between them is
also,
minimum.
yeah.
When
So
distance between them is minimum.
it could be also because it's closest to the sun, so the gravity is acting more.
No, not that way. There is like a very important and bigger explanation. We call it law of conservation of angular momentum, but that is beyond your scope. Uh, there is a law, we call it law of conservation of angular momentum. It is because of that. You cannot say because gravitational pull is more, because here also gravitational pull is more, but it is moving away. So speed decreases. So you cannot say that it is speeding up because it is close. It is actually direction of velocity which is responsible. See, if it is moving this way, then speed is increasing. If it's moving this way, then speed is decreasing. Na? Though, though gravity is same at this point, so direction of velocity is responsible for it. See, I'll explain.
Yes, sir.
Suppose this is planet which is revolving in this direction, this path, right? So at this path, at this point, its tendency is to move in this direction. Its tendency is to move in this direction. If you remember, we have discussed in circular motion. Velocity at any instant is tangential to path. If suddenly, when the planet is here and suddenly sun disappears, so planet will continue moving in this path. When planet is here, if suddenly sun disappears, then it will continue moving in this path because it has velocity along the tangent. If at this point sun disappears, it will continue moving in this path. This is Earth. Suppose when Earth is here, sun disappears, Earth will continue moving in this path. Okay. So
Yes.
what sun does, gravitational pull of sun keeps it revolving in this path. This gravitational pull is responsible for changing the speed as well as changing the direction of motion. This is force. Force is acting in this direction. It has two effects. It changes the direction of motion, so it does not escapes. It changes its direction of motion. And it also increases the speed. So the planet speeds up while moving to this point. Now, when it is moving away, so its velocity, your speed is in this direction, force is acting this way. Now, this force has two effects. One is to decrease the speed, and other is to change the direction. So, direction of motion changes, but speed decreases. नहीं समझा तो I'll explain again little slowly.
Sir, I understood.
Okay. Anyone else who wants me to explain again?
Yes, sir, understood.
Okay. So, while moving closer to the sun, direction of motion and direction of force are such that its speed goes on increasing. But while moving away, direction of force and direction of motion are such that the speed goes on decreasing. So, speed decreases. Okay. Now, is there anything which remains constant? The answer to it is yes. We say aerial velocity is constant. Linear velocity is not constant, but aerial velocity is constant. So linear velocity, the speed with which the planets are moving, does not remain constant. This will change, does not remain constant, right? But aerial velocity remains constant. And why? Explanation to it is in higher syllabus. So aerial velocity remains constant. ये constant रहेगा, ये नहीं बदलेगा. Now, what is aerial velocity? Aerial velocity is area swept by radius vector in a given interval per second. Suppose in 1 second or 1 hour, planet travels from here to here. So this radius vector sweeps this area, right, in that time. If it is here, so it sweeps some area in 1 hour. If it is here, travels from here to here in 1 hour. So this is area swept. So area swept by planet per unit time is constant. Aerial velocity, area intercepted per unit time, right? So what is law of equal areas? They say radius vector, if you don't want to use this word, use this one. Line joining sun and planet sweeps equal areas in equal intervals of time. So though speed decreases or increases. While moving this way, speed increases. While moving this way, speed decreases. But area swept per unit time will remain constant. The line joining the planet and the sun sweeps equal area in equal intervals of time. I'll repeat. The line joining the planets and the sun sweeps equal areas in equal intervals of time. So when they are moving close to sun, this line is small. So they have to move at very high speed so that they can sweep the same area. Now here, since this line is longer, so here they travel slow. They travel slowly so that they sweep same area here and here. Got it? In equal intervals of time. Not clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Huh?
sir, clear.
So when they are far, they travel slow. So they sweep some area. Now, if they have to sweep same area in the same interval of time when they are closer, they have to travel with high speed. So here speed is more. We know from here, right? So for you, this can be explanation for this, or this can be explanation for this. But in reality, the correct explanation you'll get in higher syllabus, right? Okay. So law of equal areas. What does it say? Line joining planet with sun sweeps equal areas in equal intervals of time. Clear? Okay. Now, third one. Law of periods. Third is law of periods. Means what? See, this is sun. This is path of one planet. This is path of another planet. This is path of another planet. All of them are moving in elliptical orbits, right? But distances, mean distance of these planets from the sun are different. Mean distance of these planets from the sun are different, right? One of them is closer to sun, other is far from sun. Again, this one is closer, this is far from this one. This is again far from this one. So mean distance of this planet from the sun is whatever. Mean distance of this planet would be different. So what they say is square of time period is proportional to cube of mean distance between the sun and the planet.
Sir, could you
Now let
repeat?
me see. If you take one planet, the one which is nearest to sun, this is sun, this is first planet, let us say Mercury, right? Now, mean distance means what? Mean of this and this, and which mean actually it is harmonic mean. You don't have to remember this. So mean of this and this distance, right? So not this one actually, this one. Mean of this and this, and that too it's harmonic mean. So we don't have to remember this. Let us call it mean distance. See, distance of Mercury changes with respect to time. At some instant it is closest to sun, and at other instant it is furthest to sun. So which distance should I take? So they say mean distance. Mean of what? Mean of there are some distances. We call it semi-major axis, semi-minor axis, and that too it's harmonic mean. So I'll not go into that. I'll use a word mean distance. So mean distance of this is something. Let us call it R1. And let us take another planet. Mean distance from sun of this planet is something else, right? Suppose is R2. So R1 is mean distance of first planet from sun, and R2 is mean distance of second planet from sun. So this takes T1 time to complete one revolution, and this takes T2 time to complete one revolution. So what Kepler suggested, square of time period upon cube of mean distance of each planet bears same ratio. So time period of the first one का square upon R1 का cube is equal to time period of second one का square upon R2 का cube. So these are constant. Not clear?
Sir, clear.
Got it? So
Yes.
this is what we call law of periods, right?
So I didn't
So,
understand.
see, consider one planet. First, let us consider one planet, which is nearest to sun. This is Sun. Let us take example of Mercury. Let's talk of Mercury. Mercury is closest to Sun, right? So distance of Mercury changes with respect to time or not?
Yes, sir. Changes.
Yes. So use mean distance. Let's not go into details. I'll say just mean distance. For at your stage, you can consider as arithmetic mean. Yeah, average of distances. So suppose average distance of this planet from the sun is R1 and it takes T1 time to complete one revolution. As Earth takes 365 days, this planet takes T1 time to complete one revolution. So R1 and T1 are clear. What is R1? R1 is mean distance of the planet from the sun, and T1 is the time which it takes to complete one revolution. Is it clear? These two terms, R1 and T1.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Take another planet which moves in another orbit and mean distance is R2 and it takes T2 time to travel or to complete one revolution. So what he said, more is the mean distance, more will be the time taken. More is the mean distance, more will be time taken to complete one revolution. Right? So T2 would be greater than T1. But the question is there any mathematical relation? ये ज़्यादा वो ज़्यादा इसमें मजा नहीं है. कुछ mathematical relation है क्या? तो they suggest Kepler suggested yes, there is a mathematical relation. And what is that? आप किसी का भी टाइम पीरियड लिखो, उसका स्क्वायर करो और उसका मीन रेडियस का क्यूब लो and find the ratio. It will remain same. For this one, if you calculate T1 square by R1 cube. For this one, if you calculate T2 square upon R2 cube. ये दोनों सेम आएंगे. तीसरा प्लैनेट ले लो, उसका टाइम पीरियड लिखो और उसका स्क्वायर करो और उसका मीन रेडियस का क्यूब करो, सब में सेम होगा. दिस विल रिमेन सेम. गॉट इट?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So conclusion to this is t square is proportional to r cube. यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है t square by r cube is constant. This concludes that t square is proportional to r cube. Square of time period is directly proportional to cube of mean radius या mean distance of the planet from the sun. Okay, got it? Now this is
Yes, sir.
important. Yeah, I'll give you a question based on it. So these are the three laws of Kepler's laws of planetary motion. वो topic हो गया. Let me give you a few questions. There's a question. Find the length of year in terms of Earth's days for a planet whose mean distance from sun is 8 times 4 times that of Earth. See, there's a planet whose distance from sun is 4 times the distance of Earth from sun. Right? So Earth takes 365 days to complete one revolution. In terms of the same Earth days, right? You have to find the length of the year for that planet. मतलब उसको कितना टाइम लगेगा एक रेवोल्यूशन कंप्लीट करने के लिए. अर्थ को लगता है 365 डेज, तो उसको कितना लगेगा? Got the question, na?
Sir, can you repeat what is T1?
Sorry?
Sir, can you repeat what is T1?
I did not know which part you want me to repeat. This one.
Sir, what is T1? I lost my connection. So what is
Acha,
T1?
T1. Okay. T1 is time taken by the first planet to this planet to complete one revolution. As Earth takes 365 days to complete one revolution, so this planet takes T1 time to complete one revolution. This takes T2 time to complete one. T is basically time periods. T is time period. इतना टाइम थोड़ी ना लगना है. See, let us assume first planet is Earth. तो Earth का time period is 365 days. Second planet is वो जिसका time period निकालना है. Earth का distance sun से suppose is R. तो दूसरे planet का कितना होगा? 2R. Right? Now do this at T square. तो T1 का square is 365 का square upon T का square is equal to R1 का cube, that is R cube, R2 R cube. So T square, sorry, 4 I said, na? 64. So 64 R cube. So R cube gets cancelled. Take square root of both the sides. So 365 upon T. 365 upon T is equal to 1 by 8. So T is equal to 65 into 8. So 2920 days. That's answer. So the planet which revolves at a distance 4 times more than the distance of Earth from the Sun. अगर एक planet है जिसका distance Sun से उतना मतलब 4 times ज़्यादा है compared to Earth's distance from the Sun, then it will take 2920 days to complete one revolution. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, chalo, I'll stop today.